Hi, it's Ashley from AB Sound Advice. Today we are doing a product review on the Cambridge Audio DacMagic 100 in black. Now, just to cover this off, in this part of the world they're around about the 349 mark. That's New Zealand, Australia, around those figures. And I really haven't done a lot of DACs, and I think I had a lot of people asking me to start looking at DACs, and I'm thinking to myself, why not? So, in the essence of being thorough, Eptic Audio Lounge has loaned me this Cambridge Audio DacMagic 100. I've had it for a little while. I've used it as a DAC going into the topping A90. I've also used it on the Pathos Aureum high-end headphone amp. I've also plugged it into the iFi Signature Zen amplifier, and this is where it gets interesting, and normally I would rattle off the specs, but I will say that it's got a Wolfenson 24-bit DAC, 24-bit/96 KHZ driverless USB 1.0 input, Toslick inputs, so effectively it can plug into a computer and fibre optic and a few other bits and pieces. But I guess the key with this thing is I'm a sound guy, so I'm really, most important thing, and you'll notice in everything that you've seen me do, it's all about sound. So I'm always listening to see A, if I can hear a difference, B, whether I would own it myself, C, if it's a useful item, what would you do with it, what would be the reason for buying it, all these sorts of things. So I wanted to cover that off so at the front you understand how I'm presenting this, because I am an audiophile myself, and I've been playing in audio, as you know. Well, it was 39, it's now 40 years. So, and I always, or anyone who sent something to me knew that if I handed it back and I said I liked it, they knew it was good. And if I handed it back and I wasn't really making much of a comment, I may not have enjoyed it. And if I actually made the statement, I don't think I want another one, I think they knew what I meant. So I just wanted to clarify that so you just get a clear understanding where I'm heading with this. So first off, what I can say is I had no problem with it. I've used it in all those devices, from headphones from $199 through to my high-end $5,000 and $6,000 headphones I have around the place. I think it's very cool. I think I like the size of it. It's nice and compact. And I guess sometimes we forget some of the cool little things that it can do. So let's just fire off some of those ideas to you now. So I've got an old, or my son actually has it now, an old Sony receiver. Back in those days, it wouldn't have a DAC in it, and it's all RCA, and I don't even think it has HDMI. So he's all into digital. So here's a situation where he could buy one of these, put his laptop into here, output it to his amplifier using the analog out, or some of those old amplifiers, as you know, still had fibre optic, and they also had a digital, but they're actually input. So, sorry, this thing's only even providing a output solely as RCA. So let's just refresh the brain here. I've been playing with so much stuff over the last couple of weeks, so I'm just going to re-energize my head on this. So here we are. This is a situation that all your digital devices, so computer, you've got a digital 1, digital 2, and fibre optic, and then of course analog out. So back to what I said, an old amplifier, an older setup that you have, and you'd like to get your digital signals to go through your 2-channel amp, or an old setup that you have, then these are cool. So effectively, this thing will convert it in a high res audio way, and you're able to plug your laptop or other devices that have digital outputs, and you'd like to then put it into an analog input on your amplifier, and now you've got a DAC, so which is a digital to analog converter. So I guess there you go, the brain's slowly clicking in. So from my perspective, I thought it was a good little product. I mean, I did the Cambridge Audio DacMagic 200M, and that's a completely different product to this. I mean, this one here, really, there's no headphone output on this, so you really would be using this. This would be a great unit where you might have a headphone amp now, and you've got you want to start going down the digital channel. You've done the analog arrangement, maybe through just normal analog connections, and you've got digital devices that you'd like to plug into your analog amplifier or headphone amp or home amp, any of those sorts of formats. This is a great way to do it. You can tuck it away. It doesn't really need to be in sight. And you've all of a sudden now brought all your older equipment into the 21st century. So from that perspective, a pretty cool product. So let's get to the sound side. Now, obviously it's got a single core audio processor V1.0. It's from my perspective, I really struggled to hear differences. So, I've got the DAC1 from Denon, and I've obviously got the Cambridge Audio DacMagic 200, and I've got the Zen DAC, and I've got the Fuba DAC, and I've got a few DACs floating around the place. And I tried to do comparisons, and audibly, it's very difficult to hear the differences. So then it goes back to what I was saying. I think if you're sticking with a reputable brand and you're buying a DAC for the purposes that I mentioned earlier, you're not going to go wrong with this Cambridge Audio DacMagic 100. Would I buy one? Yes. I mean, I guess I've had little headphone amps for a long time, and I've only sort of in the last few years connected up to the computers and started using Tidal and iTunes through the computer, connecting into my devices. So, yeah, I can definitely see a benefit in this type of product, and I guess it's going to come down to why you're buying it. So, if you're looking for a DAC to add to an audio system at home and the headphone side of it's not really part of what you're doing, then this is fantastic as a standalone. It'll do exactly all the things you want to do. It'll convert it into the best possible signal and put it out in a way that'll be totally enjoyable. So, it ticks all the boxes off. If you are you're actually got a headphone amplifier and want an added DAC, then again, suitable for that. But if you're in a situation where you're looking at a DAC and you are planning for headphones, it may be a consideration to think about buying a all-in-one DAC where you've got a DAC and at least a headphone output so that you can use it in the first stage, and then later on if you buy a higher end amplifier, you can add that to it. This type of DAC is really only going to be suited for somebody who's already got a headphone amp, an amplifier, or something already that you can connect this to. So I just think it's valid to cover that off, because you might have a misconception of, if you're buying this, what would you do with it? And I think for me, I thought it was very cool. Would I own one? Yeah, if I had a little headphone amp or an older audio system that doesn't provide me a digital input, I think this is great. I actually, in a lot of ways, I tried to even compare that with the DacMagic 200, just the DAC side of things, to see if I could audibly hear any differences, and it was extremely difficult. I did feel that it was very, very good. I mean, I thought, wow, okay, this DacMagic 100 sounds equally as good as all the other DACs I have here. So I can't say that it's I'm not happy with it and I don't like the sound, because that's not true. If you actually were doing an A-B comparison like I've just finished doing, you would come to the same conclusion. It will just come down to features that you like, look that you like, brand that you want, and I think you would not go past this Cambridge Audio DacMagic 100 as a purchase to add a digital analog converter to your system if it doesn't have it. So I hope that helps. And if you're looking for specifications, of course, just cambridgeaudio.com. You'll find all the specs there if you are wanting to look at that. But as I said, a career of working in this, I was always the one who threw the box to the side and just went straight into the product, and then only ever went to the instruction manual if I couldn't work out why something wouldn't work. And just talking about that, they do provide a quick start booklet, and there is some warranty and instruction manual that came in it as well, just to cover that off. So what I'm saying is that everything that I do is driven by experience, what I thought of it, sound of it, and the specification sides don't really mean a lot to me. Unless if I'm looking at the specs, I'm generally looking at them because I'm wondering why it's not doing what it said it could do. So I'll be looking for things that might be alerting me to why it didn't sound the way I thought it would. And this has not happened. This has just been a situation where I've played it, enjoyed it, haven't gone investigating because there was nothing there that made me want to do that. So if you're looking at a DAC and you want something compact and you want to add it to the setups that I've suggested, then you're not going to go wrong with this Cambridge Audio DacMagic 100. And again, thank you to Abtech Audio Lounge and Angus and the team for loaning this to me again. I do appreciate it. It will be coming back your way real soon. And I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And again, thank you for tuning in to AB Sound Advice.